Yo, what's good? This is Casey for L King Self for Life Wrestling Takes, and you're now watching Casey for L Wrestling Takes Show. What's going on, world? It's your boy KCFL King Self for Life Wrestling Takes back in the building to talk about Smackdown and Rampage, and I guess they knew they was finna be on Fox Sports 1. They didn't even put forth an effort. Yesterday's episode of Smackdown was one of the worst episodes I've seen in a very long time. These two right there by themselves carried the whole show. Nothing else on this show was important. Nothing mattered. Everything was a waste of time. I was like, dog, not one good match at all. None of them. I mean, normally, let me tell y'all something. I can't believe I'm saying this, but normally it's a chore to like it, and I don't watch Raw all the time. But normally it's a freaking chore to sit through Monday Night Raw. It really is. Like I'm not even. This is not even me sitting up here trying to hate or be on a bull jive or nothing like that. I'm just telling y'all the bold-faced truth. It's a freaking chore to sit through Monday Night Raw. This previous Monday, so on the what was Monday? Monday was the, let's see, today is the 22nd, so 5 days ago. But the 17th? It's the 17th or 18th, 1 or 2. Monday Night Raw was very tolerable, and the crowd itself actually carried the whole show, which normally is tough on Mondays, but Raw was very tolerable. And I hate to say it, but Monday Night Raw was definitely better than SmackDown this week. Outside of these two right here, SmackDown was a complete waste of time. We're going to break down everything that happened on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact that they didn't even, look here, I wish they would allow to go back to when, you remember how when the wrestlers themselves would actually set the matches or make the matches official? They don't even do that no more. They tell you right now, hands down, what the match is going to be up beforehand. I'm like, can you let the wrestlers themselves do it? That's what made wrestling fun, when the wrestlers themselves actually told you what the matches were going to be. That's what makes wrestling fun. I don't care what promotion they are. The fact they told us, even though we knew it was going to be a triple threat, they told us it's going to be Bianca versus Asuka versus Charlotte. And I'm like, why didn't you allow the girls themselves to do it last night? WWE don't care, ladies and gentlemen. And I know they got multiple matchups that may happen that may have more women in them, because there's a lot of beefs going on with the girls. Still doesn't mean nothing. does not mean anything, man. Like I said, this show was terrible. I watched this show. I was like, man, they didn't put forth an effort. I mean, the fact that these two cats right here had to freaking carry the show, the very end. We had to wait to the very end of the show for some series to pop off because everything happened on this show was very skippable. It was, I mean, this is crazy. Like we was going somewhere. Like now Tuesday nights, I already went on my rant about Tuesday night. Monday, Wednesday, heck, even Thursday for Rampage. Impact. So we almost could have got a full stellar week of wrestling. It could have been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday. Oh, and guess what? Now, I didn't order the pay per view, but your man found a way to actually catch the last two matches of uh, Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor. Worth it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll talk about those two matches too when I start talking about AEW when I get into doing the Rampage review. But man, SmackDown was hard to sit through. It was very hard to sit through, and we're gonna break down exactly why it was hard to sit through. Let's go ahead and break down this freaking show. Appreciate everybody who's watching this video. Like I said, I can't thank y'all so much. I'm telling y'all. I know a lot of y'all be wondering, like, how come you show yourself a lot? I said, because a lot of times, as you can see, I be on the road, and a lot of times I just don't feel like showing myself. Just call it for what it is. Like I said, the whole point is you hearing what I had to say. It ain't about what I looking at me talk about it. It's about what the heck am I saying. Breaking down wrestling is the number one goal when it's concerning having podcasts. First of all, a lot of people who quote unquote have podcasts, a lot of times they get to put them on radio, they put them on iTunes, they put them on Spotify. So more than likely you don't see cats' faces, but you hear their voices. That's the whole point of going to the VJs and radio VJs and all of that. You get to, it's about having that personality and being able to be on radio and being able to express yourself, but you can't see what cats look like. You hear their voices all the time. But that's the whole point of having a freaking podcast, you know what I'm saying? But let's go ahead and break down the show. So they give you a recap of everything that happened with the bloodline and all this stuff. So we open up the show with the Fatal 4-Way to determine who will face Santos Escobar next week to determine who's going to get a shot at the United States Championship against Austin Theory at Summer Joke. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, man. I've seen Fatal 4. Listen, I almost feel like I'm Fatal 4-Way out because it seems like everybody do Fatal 4-Ways nowadays. Nobody knows how to take their time and do it when it needs to be done instead of doing it every day. AEW does Fatal 4-Ways 50,000 times a week. WWE does Fatal 4-Ways 50 trillion thousand times a week. Even Impact was having Fatal 4-Ways left and right. I'm sitting up here like, man, can we calm down with them? Because they're not special no more. Everybody does them so much. And when you bring cats together, they got all different types of styles, and you try to bring them together, you think you're going to get yourself a classic. Ladies and gentlemen, all four of these cats are great wrestlers. Cameron Grimes is great. LA Knight is phenomenal. Rey Mysterio is a freaking Hall of Famer. Sheamus is the future Hall of Famer. The four of them got together, y'all, and they had one of the middest matches I've ever seen in my life. That match was terrible. I saw that match, and I felt bored out of my mind. And the fact that before the show, I was reading stuff about them saying that they're not even going to push LA Knight until after Summer Joke. So that told me right there that LA Knight wasn't winning. So the fact that he didn't win, yeah, I was kind of bummed, but I already knew he wasn't winning. The question is, who the heck was going to win? Rey Mysterio won. So we doing LWO against one another. The two front men of LWO will face each other next week to determine who's going to get the shot against Austin Theory. So, ladies and gentlemen, that tells me right now that Austin Theory is freaking retaining. He's not losing a Summer Joke. He's going through Summer Joke with the United States Championship. If LA Knight would have won, I think LA Knight would have beat him. But since LA Knight didn't win, and now we got LWO going against one another, that's a dead giveaway. Austin Theory is retaining again. But this matchup was mid. Austin Theory got involved, and then Esteban got out there. So guess what? Guess what WWE does? Anytime you quote-unquote get involved, you end up fighting the cat who you might potentially end up fighting at the freaking pay-per-view. That's exactly what happened later on in the show, and I'll talk about it when I get there. But LA Knight didn't win, And that crowd, listen, the atmosphere in Orlando was up here, and because he didn't win, it just plummeted down, ladies and gentlemen. And for the remainder of that night, you can tell they made noise, but it wasn't as loud as it was when he came out there. And he even cut a promo talking about what he was planning on doing, talking about he going that summer. I was like, no, bro, that was also another dead giveaway. That was a dead giveaway about him basically saying, I'm not going there. I know the fans want me to go. I know people they're impatient. They want to see me get pushed, but I'm not getting the push. I'm not. And who knows if I'm really going to get the push, because they claim I'm going to get the push after Summer Joe. But, that's that. But like I said, this matchup, man, it was terrible. The sad part is all four of these cats are good. All four of them are good. Like, you would have thought they would have gave us a classic. It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And it's not the fact that LA Knight didn't win because it was terrible. I don't care. Even if LA Knight would have won, I still would have said the matchup was terrible. So I don't want people coming in my comments and say the only reason you saying the match was bad because LA Knight didn't win. I'm saying no. I watched this and I just was bored out of my mind. I really sat there and I'm trying to watch this matchup and I said, man, where is the pizzazz? Like, there's nothing there. Nothing. And all four of these cats are good. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So after the matchup, like I said, Ray won. We get a host of NXT talent pulling up. Tony D was in the back. Jey Uso walked past them. Austin Theory walked past Adam Pearce. Talk about he wanted to match up with Santos Escobar. I said, man, why are we doing this? Why? Neither one of these men need to look terrible going into Summer Joke. Neither one. Why are we doing this matchup? But that's what they do, ladies and gentlemen. I told you, wrestling today, championships don't mean nothing. And it's unfortunate because champions get pinned left and right. It does not matter. Listen, I could see if the title was on the line, but it just seems that titles in these companies don't mean anything. They're not prestigious. They're jokes. You want a title to mean something. These clowns that run these corporations don't care. They absolutely don't care. And it's unfortunate, but this is the times we in now. The times we in where champions can get pinned left and right, and people will still assume that that's good booking. It's not. It's terrible booking, but that's how things are. So then we got a video package of. Here's another thing. This the thing, right? What was the whole point of the brand split or the draft? If we got foods that's on Raw, storylines that with Raw superstars happening on SmackDown, the same thing. Storylines with SmackDown happening on Raw. I'm like, why the heck does that need to be? That just tells me that there's no creativity upstairs. No creativity. You need to focus on building the cats on your show. Why the heck do we need to know about Brock and Cody again? Why should we even give a crap? We don't need to know that. That's Monday Night Raw specifically, correct? No, WWE keep playing around with this thing, acting like the brand split means something. It doesn't. It doesn't mean a goddamn thing. So they showed Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams sitting front row. And guess what? You know what I said? They nothing but jokes. Because the way how they've been presented, and I'm not talking about no freaking representation. For certain people who think I'm talking about, it's got nothing to do with representation. We represented on the show, but it's about the freaking presentation. And the presentation that Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams has been shown for the last couple of months have been jokes. Both of them are jokes. The jobbers, if you ask me. And I'm at the point right now where I'm telling you right now, I just need Damian Priest to cash in on this man, and we call it a day because we know Seth Rollins is losing to Finn Balor, so it would make perfect sense. Carmelo Hayes' title reign ain't nothing. Damian Priest will, I think, more than likely, I think they probably show him a little bit more respect, but that's just how the things are, you know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you both it's true. A lot of people don't want to accept that, but that's the truth. So then Charlotte Flair comes out of nowhere. We're getting a matchup between her and Io Sky. And I'm sitting up and asking myself, where the heck is Asuka? Where the heck is Bianca? Why the heck did they announce the triple threat before we even got this matchup? They should have allowed the women to do that. Heck, they should have did it last week. But they did not, because that tells you the story progression is out of control. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. So after Charlotte came out there, good thing we seen Bayley walking on her own. She was walking kind of slow, but she was still walking. So thank God. whatever this injury was is not too serious. So we're thankful for that. We're still waiting on the MRI, so I'm grateful. Because like I said, she don't need to be gone, especially with the situation that's going. Now, the one storyline that I would say is going on is the so-called friendship between Bayley and Io, and with Miss, Shotzi Blackheart cutting all her hair off and everything. We know exactly why she cut all her hair off. That's the one storyline I'll say it makes somewhat sense because that's what's going on. So this matchup, ladies and gentlemen, listen. When Charlotte Flair want to have a good match, she can. But this matchup, man, this is bad. Io and Charlotte, especially Charlotte, were man, listen, botching all over the place. I was like, what in the world is going on? And then you had Bayley sitting there on commentary, trying to go back and forth with Michael Cole. Like I said, they got this so-called friend of me / brother-sister relationship where they just crack jokes on each other all day. It is what it is on that. But she cheering for Io, telling Io to do what she needs to do. So, but Charlotte and Io flopping all over the place. Yeah, I said the word flopping. Flopping all over the freaking place. I was like, dog, what the heck is going on here? What the heck is... it felt like these were two rookies trying to wrestle. And both of these, listen, Charlotte is, listen, I'm going to look here. For the people who think I hate on Charlotte Flair, yeah, I call her a freaking android. Listen, old school Charlotte, NXT, then when she first came up to the ring, that Charlotte actually was pretty good. She was very good. I give her that. She's not a part of the Four Horsewomen for no reason. As time went on, it just seems like she's progressed backwards. And I've seen fools tell me they want her to come to AEW. I'm like, no. I don't want this overrated woman coming to AEW. She'll just make the division even worse. No. Stay your behind in WWE and run everything because that's all she does. She controls that place. That's her land. That's what she does. And Io Sky, we all know how good Io Sky is. Io Sky looked like an amateur as well, too. I was watching this matchup. I was like, what the heck are these girls doing? There was this one part where they called themselves trying to flip off each other, and she tried to... I'm like, what are they doing? It looked like two girls that had absolutely no idea what they was doing. And seeing one of the scenes where it looked like the botch took place, guess what? They cut the commercial real fast. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And I'm sitting up and watching this. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I guess they must have knew. We on Fox Sports 1. We know the ratings aren't going to be like they were if we was on Fox. So let's just be on board, job. Let's not even put forth effort. That's exactly. Look here. Listen to me right now. When it's concerning the summer joke card, the Raw side seems to be the stronger side. I'm serious. I'm serious. Y'all know I can't even stand Monday Night Raw. The Raw side seems to be the stronger side concerning Smackdown side. The Smackdown side is the weaker side, if you ask me. The Raw side of the matches that's already set up seem to be the more stronger sides because I feel like even though some of the storylines on Raw don't make no type of sense, I feel like based on how they present it, it still feels stronger. The Smackdown side is weak as heck outside of Roman and Jey Uso. Weak. Very weak. I'm like, what the heck are we doing? Y'all got like, what, 2 weeks left? 2 weeks until we get the summer joke. Y'all better get y'all behinds going. Vince, what the heck are y'all fools doing? Let's go. Pick up the pace. What the heck are we doing? Just doing anything. It don't make no freaking sense. So, I'm going to be honest with you. I had got some food and everything, so I walked out the room when certain things were going on. But Shotzi Blackheart video popped up where she was laughing and cutting her hair, and Bayley got scared, and so she left. And Io was like, Bayley, I need you. And you already know what happened. Charlotte Flair ended up winning, and I think Asuka came out of nowhere. I think Asuka came out, tried to lay out Charlotte or something like that, because I missed this part. But then I came in on the new current NXT North American champion. I was sitting up here saying, what the heck is Rhea and Dominic doing on SmackDown? What the clown are they doing on SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen? I can see them going down in NXT because they had them on there. But they on freaking SmackDown? No, you are Raw. Y'all Raw. Y'all not on SmackDown no more. What the heck are y'all doing there? They pulled up, talk about everybody's mad. They mad that I'm the North American champion and mommy's here and mommy, she doing her thing and that the world's going to be mad and they're going to be real mad when Finn Balor win the doggone time. I'm like, but I'm the North American champion. Ain't nobody going to beat me. Next thing you know, formerly known as, but even though he's still going by Butch, Pete Dunne came out of nowhere and he said, you represent the North American Championship as a straight joke, but I should take that title away from you tonight. Let me get a matchup. Next thing you know, Adam Pearce popped out of nowhere and they set the matchup. So later on, we're going to get Pete Dunne, a.k.a. Butch, versus Dominic Mysterio for the North American Championship. Random matches, just throwing stuff together because they have absolutely no idea what they're doing in creative. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So that's that. So I just talked about all that. Then, oh yeah, Shawn Michaels came out of nowhere, got a little pop. I was like, man, what the heck have they done to you, Michaels? What have they done? What have Triple H and Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard done to you, bro, where you just sit up here and just do anything on your product? Your show was actually somewhat decent when I was watching it until the most recent 3 weeks. Outside of the Tony D stuff, ain't nothing going on over in NXT. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's why I say, look here. Great, look at the Great American Bash, or as what I'm going to call the show, it's called the Great American Joke, because that's exactly what is finna happen. I'm telling you, ain't nothing but a straight joke. It's a joke, ladies and gentlemen. But Michaels and Adam Pearce sitting up there, the crowd kind of looked popped out there in Orlando. So you got Roman, you got Solo, and you got Paul Heyman in the room, and they talked about what's going to happen at this meeting that they're going to have at the end of the show. You know, it is what it is on that. So then Austin Theory come out. Now we got the matchup. So we got, in the locker room, Bayley and Io went to Bayley's locker, and it was a scissor with Bayley's picture and the scissor going through it. They trying to make something out of it. Like I said, you know, I'm going to see where it goes. I'm not going to just take a complete dump on it, because I said out of all the women's storylines going on, this seemed to be the most important storyline, which is unfortunate. Because you would think the women's title would be the most important storyline, but it's not, because Asuka's a freaking afterthought. She's an afterthought, ladies and gentlemen. I tell y'all all the time, y'all should already know what WWE, I told y'all what WWE stand for. Y'all should know what they stand for. They don't give a crap about Asuka and nothing like. Y'all already know why. Come on, let the elevator go up to the top of the room. Let it go to the top of the dome. Come on now. So we get this matchup. We get Austin Theory, who is the current U.S. champion, versus Santos Escobar. Neither one of these clowns need to be losing, correct? And the matchup, I'm gonna be 100% with you. This may have possibly been maybe the most decent match on the show. And Austin Theory to me is kind of mid. You know, Santos Escobar is real good, but the two of them somehow work well together. I give them props on that. But even watching this, I was like, man, why are we doing this? Why? And guess what happened? Santos Escobar pinned the champion, which makes Austin Theory look even more like a joke. I'm like, what the clown are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? I'm watching this stuff. I say, dog, what is this? Just mid all day long. Mid. I'm like, just doing anything. And now your champion looks like a joke going into summer joke. So that tells me all I need to know. Austin Theory is not winning. He's not losing the title now. Especially because LA Knight ain't getting to it. So they had a backstage locker room scene. I think it's coming up before I talk about it. I'm going to talk about them too. Backstage, you had Esteban and Ray. They embrace one another. They say make the best lucha win and all that. I think Ray going to win now. I think it's going to be Ray versus Austin Theory. I think that's the matchup. I think Esteban is down, especially since he pinned the champion. I don't think he's winning. It would be real stupid for them to have the rematch again, and you already know, because he already pinned Austin Theory, so you know dang well Santos Escobar not winning. So we get this, Bobby Lashley in the back, and guess who he walking to? Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, I see the handwriting on the wall. What I tell y'all all the time, when you don't know how to book Negroes, just throw them together. That's all WWE knows what to do. They don't know nothing else. Let's revamp the Hurt Business, or whatever new name they're going to call them. They don't know. I tell y'all all the time, they can't book us to save their life. They can't. And I know fools gonna be mad at me when I say this, but I'm just telling you both it's truth. I have no faith in this whole new faction that they getting ready to put together. They finna try to put the Street Profits, Mello, Trick. Heck, it was a picture that they took a couple of months ago. You had Bobby Lashley, you had Omar, you had MVP, you had Carmelo Hayes, and you had the Street Profits, which is Montez and Angelo Dawkins. They all was in that picture together. And everybody's like, oh man, we need this, man. We need this, bro. We need it for the culture, bro. I said, yeah, we need it for the culture. And then guess what? When they get out there, you already know what's gonna happen. Y'all should know the script. I'm telling you, I try to help y'all out. I try to help the cats in the IWC out all the time about us in this doggone freaking company. They don't give a crap about us, and they never will give a crap about us. We just there to be there. I'm telling you. Listen, do I want this to be great? Heck yeah, I want it to be great. The Hurt Business was excellent, but guess what? They weren't buck dancing, ladies and gentlemen. That's what Vince McMahon broke them up. You never want to hear. Listen, I listened to countless of podcasts, wrestling reporters, people who do this to talk about it, and I've never heard one person explain why they broke the Hurt Business up. Nobody's ever spoke the real truth. I'm the only one to tell y'all the bold-faced truth. They weren't buck dancing, ladies and gentlemen. They weren't buck dancing. They were about business. They were about handling the business, winning championships, and handling the business. They weren't about no shucking and jiving. They weren't trying to twerk. They weren't trying to blow trombones. They weren't shaking their booty and bucking that. They weren't doing none of that. They wasn't doing none of that. And Vince McMahon and Triple H said, oh, no, we got to cut this short. We had to cut this short. We can't have this. It got over. For some reason, it got over. Look at some of the hardest critiquers, especially when it's concerning our talent, was sitting up here saying that they absolutely love the Hurt Business. They love Bobby Lashley, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander being together. Why? Because they weren't buck dancers. It was a serious black group that actually took care of business in the ring. Yes, they were. Listen, I was telling people this, and I didn't call them this, but I said they had the potential of being the black version of Evolution. They had the potential. It was sitting right there. Why? Triple H and them, they had the suits on. They was about business, and they was winning championships. That's exactly what the Hurt Business was supposed to be. But then guess what? Vince McMahon saw was getting over. He said, oh, no. Cut the legs out of them. They're not cooning. They're not buck dancing. They're not shucking and jiving. We got to end this stuff. That's why I was even surprised that Bobby actually went over at WrestleMania 37 against Drew, because I had Drew McIntyre winning. And the fact that Bobby went over, I was like, wow, can't believe it. But even then, it was a wrap, because all of them was gone already. So with this new faction that they quote unquote want to make with all of us in it, I don't really have any hope that it's going to be good, because I've seen them do this countless of times over and over and over and over again. And guess what? It's the same exact result. So I know people is like, man, why you boo-hooing on it? Why you taking the dump? I said, because I know how the E move. Look at how Carmelo and Trick Williams are looking on NXT right now. They're jokes. They're jobbers. Yeah, Carmelo might have the NXT World Championship right now, but he's been presenting like a jobber the last month. So, and then you want me to get excited about him hanging out with Bobby Lashley and all. I'm like, no, I can't do it, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot do it. I can't do it. Look, I'm not one of these buck dancers in the IWC that get on here and shuck and jive all day. I'm not the one. Y'all got the wrong one. Y'all got the wrong one, man. I'm just telling y'all both the truth. You got the wrong one. I told y'all, I come over here in Caseyville, rest of the Texas, I keep it 100%. I keep it 100%, especially when it's concerned to our talent, regardless of what company we being presented in. Because we represent it all over the place. And I'm going to tell you the truth. TK actually allowed us to go out there last night at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, and them two ladies showed out in the main event. Athena, Willow Nightingale, they killed it. That was an excellent main event. Excellent main event. But I'm telling y'all right now, when we come on the show, I want us to be presented as if we matter, just like everybody else. When you see everybody else, you be like, all right, cool. Because see, and let me tell y'all something. I'm not Asian, but let me tell you something. I feel bad when I see the Asian folk come on the show and they get presented as ninjas and presented like clowns that don't. Because why? I feel bad for them. I can relate because I've seen our people be presented like jokes year in and year out. This is why I go hard about stuff like this. You don't hear nobody else in the IWC going hard about it because we get carried away by every other thing that when we see us, we just get happy because we on the show. Nah. Ain't got nothing about just being on the show. That's why I said with this whole new faction that they get ready to make, I hope it does well. But my hope is this low. It's low. Because this company continues to do idiotic stuff like this over and over and over again. I done said enough. I know some of y'all probably be like, man, this is all you do. I said, yeah, because I keep it 100% about us on these shows. And I'm going to talk about Rampage when I get there because guess who was in the final two when it's concerning that Rampage Battle Royal, whatever it was called. You should already know who the final two was. I mean, I'll get there when I get there. We got Dominic Mysterio versus Pete Butch done for the NXT North American Championship. What a waste of time. Pete Dunne tried. He honestly tried to make Mysterio look good. He tried his hardest. But Dom, let me tell you something. Dominic he's okay, but he still needs a lot of work. He still got some issues that he needs to get fixed or whatever. But I got to give Pete Dunne all the props in the world because what I was watching, and then you already know. You know Rhea was out there just cheating her behind off because that's all she know how to do. That's it. As of right now, I'm going to say it right now. Outside of Roman Reigns, I think Rhea Ripley is the second biggest heel in that company because of all the clown crap. And more than likely, she's the true leader of that group. Finn Balor ain't the leader. Damian Priest ain't the leader. And we know Dom ain't the leader. Rhea Ripley is the true leader of Judgment Day. So I'm going to say this. Even with the booking that she's had, because her booking is kind of fluctuating, Rhea Ripley as of right now is the strongest heel on Raw. She is the strongest heel. Even with the stupid booking that they have done with her going against Natalya every 5 weeks, every other week. With her being with Judgment Day and doing all this goofy stuff and just cheesing and just the way how she is going, she's the strongest one there out of the whole Judgment group. I feel like she's the strongest one. But her cheating and everything helped Dominic win the game. Like I said, same old, you know. Now, we get to the main event. So they talked about it. They say, get ready, Philly. WrestleMania 40 is coming to your backyard. Tickets go on sale on August 18th, ladies and gentlemen. I've been contemplating. I don't know. I can't say anything right now. I don't know. Like I said, I've been watching this crap for a long time. And I always wondered, like, what would it be like to actually pull up at one of these dumb man events? I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know. I'm not saying anything right now. Just don't know. But Jey come out. Fans going nuts. Going crazy. Then here come the bloodline. Here come Roman. Here come Solo. Here come Paul Heyman. They come doing their long man walk. They sitting at the doggone table. It's the contract signing. And they go at it. They talk about the realest of the real. And let me tell y'all something. Even with Jey, with all the emotional facial expressions that he make and all this crazy stuff, that man got Roman Reigns to crack. He was clowning top of, man, I can take this chair right here. I can whip your behind with this. I can do that. Listen, he's serious but being goofy at the same exact time, and it got Roman to crack because Roman was busted. He was cracking his behind up. So the matchup is called a tribal combat match. Now, the word is nobody that's related to them can get involved, even though it's a no DQ match. That's the thing. That is the whole thing. So after all the stuff they said to one another, they did all that. They shook up, they hugged and all that mess or whatever. Solo was finna doggone thumb Jey. Roman stopped him. It's the same exact thing when Solo was finna thumb Jimmy and Jey stopped him. The same exact thing. So listen, this is the one thing I'm telling y'all right now. This is the one thing that is carrying this company right now. There is nothing else on this company that can even attach itself to this. They're trying with the Judgment Day. They're trying. They're like, if you want to say a second top notch, but not as much. This right here, them alone, is the best thing going for this entire company. Even with the idiotic decision that they made at Money in the Bank, I still want to see how this matchup is going to play. Even though I got Jey losing, I just want to see how it's going to play. This is called a tribal compact match or something like that. This is pretty much a beat the brakes off your opponent match, but nobody that's a rate related to him can get involved. That's it. That is the whole thing. And the way how it went off, I was like, look here, man. I said, how the heck we have a hot garbage show and we wait till the very end to actually do something that makes sense? It don't make no type of sense whatsoever. I'm telling y'all right now, this is crazy. I'm like, this is carrying the freaking show. It's carrying the show. I'm like, dog, doesn't make sense to me. Makes absolutely no sense. SmackDown was hot garbage until we got to the very end of the show. Very end of the show. So as of right now, I'm telling you, everything on Raw, the Raw matches, I think maybe about 3 of the Raw matches I care about. SmackDown, this is the only match I care about from the SmackDown side. I don't care about nothing else that's happening on SmackDown. I don't care about the women's triple threat. I don't care. You would think I would because they would be more invested. Why? Because of, Io still has the briefcase. So obviously, she's going to try to cash in. But the way how they presented it, they telling me you shouldn't really care. Because they're not really putting forth a full effort into why you should care about said matchup. And Rhea's screwed because Liv Morgan is hurt. So now she has nobody to go against. Because I don't think Raquel is ready right now. So I don't know what they're going to do. Call Natalya back and have her wrestle her for the 16,000th time. But right now, this was the best thing on SmackDown. Hands down. I'm serious. This is where I give them the props. Because what they decided to do with this tribal combat match, hey, I'm more power to them. Great job. Now, let me address the LA Knight situation before I get to Rampage and Death Before Dishonor, the 2 matches on the show, which Pac, Claudio, Athena, and Willow Nightingale. LA Knight's push. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm right here. Okay. This is where I'm at with this. Triple H and them said, be patient. You know what I say when they say strike while the iron's hot? H and them is not interested in doing that right now because I think what H and them quote unquote wants to do, they want to see will fans continue to still ride. Will this thing end up turning into a at the time he's Daniel Bryan, a Daniel Bryan situation that went into WrestleMania 30? Is that what it's going to turn into? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. But I feel like they are doing this on purpose because one thing, Vince and them, the number one thing with them, if you get over on your own without the machine, that's a form of ways of punishing you because that's what they do. That's how they do. They punish you on purpose. So I don't really understand why, but I heard certain people talk about certain things and they said, well, you have to just wait. You don't just want to go all the way through with it because if you go all the way through with it, cats are going to get tired. They might eventually turn on. Got a point, you know what I'm saying? But like I say, I'm here. This is me right now. I'm not really ticked off. I wanted him to win. Yes, I wanted him to win. But I'm not really ticked off like how most of these people are in the IWC because, everybody's just going mad. They going nuts. They said that this dude is the most over thing going outside of the bloodline. He is the most over thing, which is true because all them fans like, yeah, heck, check this out. I seen a video from on Twitter. Somebody had took it from TikTok. Man, cats that was at the Blood and Guts show after in the TD Garden in Boston for Dynamite. Man, they was going down the stairs and that cats was saying, let me talk to you. Yeah, that man is over in AEW, ladies and gentlemen. He ain't even in AEW and he's over there. That tells me all I need to know. That boy is over. LA Knight is over. He is over, ladies and gentlemen. He got my full attention. I want to see this young man succeed. I'm behind him. But it's up to Vince and Triple H. It's whatever they want to do. So if H and them want us to be patient, fine. I guess we'll be patient. But we need to come on, man. We need to do something. Because LA Knight he's just too freaking over. He's too over, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, that's that. That's the SmackDown side of things. So let's go ahead and break down Rampage, and I'm going to talk about the 2 Ring of Honor matches because I didn't watch the whole pay-per-view. I just seen the 2 final matches. So let's go ahead and break down AEW Rampage, and then we'll talk about the 2 Ring of Honor matches. Or I should have told you know what? Let me talk about it. I'm gonna talk about them first. Okay, Pac, Claudio. See, let me tell y'all something, man. Ring of Honor, to me, Ring of Honor is pretty much AEW Dark and Elevation now. When it first started, it wasn't. But I think over time, it turned into that because TK just has way too many matches on the show itself. When I'm talking about the actual TV show, it'd be like he had like 13 matches. I'm like, bro, we need some story. I don't know why all these people are wrestling each other all day long, and that's all you know how to do. It's just, let me put these two together. I'm like, why are they wrestling? I'm not going to sit up there for 2 hours or whatever, how long the stream is or whatever. I'm not going to do that. You need to get me to give a crap. The reason why cats cared about Pac and Claudio is because we got to know about it from Dynamite and whatever other show they're going to be on. And then same thing with these two. We got to know about it because they was on Collision. Those matches matter to us because we know what's going on. When you put stuff on Ring of Honor and all it is just cats wrestling each other all day, I'm like, and we supposed to get excited about a pay-per-view where we don't really understand how the stories go because you kind of really don't know what you're doing when it's concerning to storytelling. Like, you can probably tell when look here, I'm gonna give him some props. TK is like, when it's concerning, okay, I'm gonna go percentage. Out of 100%, TK is, I said 50. I'm going down. I say TK is a 40% good storyteller. The other 60%, he really have absolutely no idea what he's doing. Just call it for what it is. Because I understand why people get on this case because all he know how to do is just put wrestling matches together. I'm like, bro, it's not just about putting wrestling matches together. We need to understand, why are these clowns wrestling each other? Why? We need to have a real reason. It needs to matter. If you want cats to buy your pay-per-views, you need to actually put forth an effort in your television product. The Ring of Honor show is just, it's dark. It's dark. That's it. Random clowns wrestling each other. And then next thing you know, when the card gets announced, you say, oh, DG versus Shibata for the 15,000th time. Oh, and then you be like, wait a minute, the Dark Order versus the Righteous. I'm like, wait, what? He needs to actually put forth an effort into getting us to care about it. If he does not, guess what? Cats like myself, who normally buys AEW pay-per-views, are actually going to go out their way to spend the money. If the show does not look like it's worth buying or spending money, I'm not going to do it. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to sit up here and waste money on something that's stupid that don't make no type of sense. I'm not stupid like that. See, there's some hardcore wrestling fans that just spend their money and don't give a crap. They don't care if the card is weak. They don't care if the card is good. They're going to spend their money regardless. And trust me, I know a whole bunch of them. That's all they do. You should see them. I'm talking about the AEW shields right now. They just shield out for anything AEW do. I mean, they shield they behinds off. You would think they work for Tony Khan or something. Just all the butt kissing they do. But me, I want my matches need to matter. My pay-per-views need to make sense. Storylines matter. That is the number one thing about wrestling. Storylines matter. Why you think fools love this right now? People who aren't even hardcore wrestling heads, this all they talk about. This man right here in the bloodline. Why? Because it's one of the biggest storylines going right now. Even with him getting pinned, it's still one of the biggest storylines going on. Storylines matter. Let me tell y'all something. Pac, Claudio beat the snot out of each other. Claudio launched Pac and threw that man all the way through a doggone. Listen, he launched him. I ain't never seen no match like that. I've seen people just jump off the ropes and jump through a table with somebody on the table. I ain't never seen somebody just launch their behind and they go flying. Listen, they was beating the brakes off each other. I didn't even know. I don't know if it was a no DQ type of match, but they beat the snot out of each other. But you should already know. Claudio had help. Wheeler Yuta came out of nowhere, caused a distraction. Claudio retains his Ring of Honor World Championship. So, these two sisters right here, yes, Willow Nightingale and Athena got the freaking main event spot. And let me tell y'all something. Y'all thought the matchup they did on Rampage to determine who was going to win the Owen Hart Cup side for the women, y'all thought that matchup was good. Ladies and gentlemen, these two freaking cooked. Listen, this matchup alone was better than, outside of the storyline on SmackDown, any match that was on SmackDown couldn't even top this match. None of the matches. Willow Nightingale is great. Athena is great. The two of them getting together, and obviously they got history. We know about the storyline that's going on. That's why it mattered. And they told a story. The struggling that went on in this match from both sides was crazy, and the crowd was behind. Now, word on the street is fans that actually went to the show were ticked off because she retained. And you know what? I'm not even going to trip about it because the handwriting was on the wall. She won the Owen Hart thing, and she already pinned her on Rampage, so that told y'all that she wasn't gonna lose. Now Willow's mama was actually in the house, so when I heard that her mom was there, I said, "Oh no, maybe TK might go ahead and pull an audible or something like that." Listen, these two were slinging each other around. These two were putting each other in submission holds. These two were body slamming each other. I was like, bro, why the heck is she hitting on a freaking app that don't nobody watch? It's time for her to come on up to the main roster and start kicking some serious butt. Because as of right now, Athena, hands down, is the number one greatest wrestler for the women's side in AEW. For me, she is number one. Number one right now. Number two is Tony. I mean, not Tony. Number two is Jamie. Jamie is number two. Number three is Tony. Number 4 is Willow. Number 5 is Britt. Number 6 is Jade. I'm thinking about the order. Number 7 is Chris. These are the order that I put the girls in. Number 8 is Sky. I'm putting this is my order of my girls, of how I look at them, concerning of where I rank them at. But as of right now, number 1, this girl right here. And she showcased why exactly she is the women's Ring of Honor world heavyweight champion over here on the Ring of Honor side. Willow had this match won, ladies and gentlemen. She had this match won. I thought she was going to get her. And there were a couple of times where she was quote-unquote selling and everything for it. And I'm like, okay. I said, man, I don't know who's finna win this matchup. Man, out of nowhere, she put her behind to sleep. She put Willow to sleep. And word is on the street, the crowd walked. Like, well, they was disappointed. They were upset. I'm like, listen, I know a lot of people love this girl. I'm a fan of Willow. I'm a huge fan of this girl. But I already knew. When she pinned her on Rampage, I said she's not losing that title. So now the question you had to ask yourself, who the heck is going to take that title off of her? Because Athena, man, cooking. She's cooking, ladies and gentlemen. She's cooking. The girl is cooking, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, but I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know who's gonna be there and what. But at the press conference, she kind of broke down because she said she never main evented a pay-per-view. Never. And the fact is that we had two sisters main event the pay-per-view. It's unfortunate. I wish TK would have put forth an effort in getting people to care about that pay-per-view. But the fact is, these two actually got the main event of pay-per-view, and they cooked. I mean, listen, we ate last week on Slammiversary. We ate again. I mean, see, this is what I'm talking about, the presentation. The presentation, ladies and gentlemen. Presentation matters when it's concerned. Listen, first of all, I'm going to say it. Presentation matters regardless of what race you are. Why you think the number one storyline in AEW right now is Adam Cole and MJF? Presentation. It's the story and it's the presentation. It's the presentation that gets people engulfed in. Why should I care about you? That's what the presentation part comes into it. First of all, we're not finna just care about somebody because of what race they are. We care about them because of what's the story being told. It's the story that gravitates. It's what pull. It's like, okay, I need to pay attention to this because point A, point B, point C. These two, they got excellent chemistry and they cook. These two matches alone, and then I found out that now TK actually you can buy the pay-per-view off the app, so you can watch it, but you still have to pay for it. So I didn't know that. If I would have known that, maybe I would have. Based on how terrible Smackdown was, maybe I should have got it because Kat said the pre-show was actually good. A lot of people I saw actually said this is a pretty solid pay-per-view. So it was worth it, but I don't watch Ring of Honor like that. So therefore I don't watch Ring of Honor like that. Listen, y'all. Y'all already know. I told y'all. I come over here. I keeps it 100% on KCFL Wrestling Takes. That's what it's about. Being factual. This ain't about opinions or nothing like that. This is about being factual and tell y'all the bold-faced truth of what's going on in these IWC wrestling as a whole streets, period. That's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it's about. Let's go ahead and talk about some doggone Rampage and talk about what that clown happened on here. Rampage, I didn't really care too much about the Battle Royal because a certain somebody wasn't in the matchup. Based on how things transpired, it would have made more sense why he would have lost. It would have made 100% more factual. It may have been because it was very predictable. They told you on Dynamite who was going to win this. Remember I told y'all about the segment with OC and Darby Allin and them? They told you who was winning the Royal Rumble or the Royal Rampage match. They told you. They told you exactly who was winning. It was Darby Allin. It was easy. But see, I wish when it came down to the final two. So these are all the clowns that's in it. Everybody that you see was in it. Now you had to ask yourself, ain't there somebody missing? Where the clown is Keith Lee at? Where the heck is Keith Lee? Y'all want us to care about Keith Lee versus Swerve, correct? Where the heck was Keith Lee? Keith Lee was nowhere in sight, ladies and gentlemen. Nowhere in sight. I'm like, why? Why do you want us to care about Keith Lee versus Swerve if you don't put a freaking effort into getting us to care, Tony Khan? See, now I'm about to get on his case. See, I just praised him on what he did with the women's side, but now when it's concerning the fellas side, he on bull jive mode. You want us to care about Keith Lee and Swerve. Keith Lee and Dustin should have been in this matchup. They should have been in this matchup, and it would have made more sense for what took place at the very end. I'm not even going to talk about all the different people who got eliminated, all this. I'm going to come down to the final two. It came down to Swerve, and it came down to Darby. Personally, I got in the ring. Now, I don't even know. I guess, obviously, in these type of matches, there's no DQ. He got in the ring, and he whacked Darby Allin in the back with a skateboard and all this crazy stuff. So, he got tossed out. I was like, so Swerve and him, talk about Darby, kept doing moves on each other. Then they kept trying to knock each other out the ring and all this crazy stuff. But it would have made more sense if Swerve would have lost because of Keith Lee. Keith should have been in this freaking match. You want us to care about the feud with Keith and Swerve. Get us to care. TK ain't putting forth an effort. That's why fools really don't give a care about seeing Swerve versus Keith. I know the match going to be great, but fools ain't going to give a crap about it because TK and them is not putting forth an effort. The matchup would have made a whole lot more sense if Keith Lee was involved. Now we know for a fact, okay, we're going to come down somewhere down the line. We getting Keith Lee versus Swerve. And I think Keith Lee versus Swerve is going to happen all out. I think that's when it's going to happen. But you should have started whatever you wanted to start right here. So, obviously, this matchup was for a shot against Luchasaurus. Darby versus Luchasaurus is the matchup. The first match for All Out has been set. So, I like the fact that we are, 2 months away. We're 2 months away and TK has already started. So that's the one thing I would give him props about this match. We have our first match announced, which is great because you want people to spend $60 because I believe it's going to be $60. You want people to spend $60 on pay-per-view for this doggone pay-per-view. You better put forth your most effort into getting cats to care. Because if you just drag this, if you just randomly announce matches that we don't really understand why cats are fighting each other, then people gonna say, I'll pass, or I'll just see what people are saying on Twitter or whatever social media platform that you're a part of, but you can see what people are talking about. Get people to give a crap. I'm telling y'all all day, get people to care. It's not that freaking difficult. It ain't. It's not difficult, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. That's it. So, Darby versus Luchasaurus for the TNT Championship will be taking place at All Out. So, that was our very first matchup. Now, the roast. This was great. Normally, I don't care nothing about QT and them and Aaron Solo and Harley Cameron. But this matchup between Johnny TV, QT, and Aaron Solo versus The Claim and Daddy Butt, I thought this was a great 6-man tag team match. I really did. This was a great trios match, and the roast, the riding, the rap, whatever you want to call it, man. Now that's how you do it. This foolishness that Harley Cameron and them was trying to do, it ain't working. But when Platinum Max want to do something, when he want to actually come and spit some actual good raps, he can. Cause see, a lot of times I'm like this. His raps be 50-50 with me. Sometimes the stuff be great. Then the other times the stuff be just weak. It be weak as heck. It be lame. But not this one. This is great. Everything he said was off the chain. It was perfect. I laughed. I thought it was great. They did what they did. Then when they got in the ring, Johnny TV, when he ain't doing this buck dancing foolishness or whatever you want to call it, the buffoonery or whatever, we ain't doing that. He actually going to wrestle. And then QT running around here with a dumb man Band-Aid on the back of his neck because he had that doggone match with Penta at Triple X Mania 31. Listen, I thought this matchup was a very good match. But obviously you know why they had to win, talking about the Acclaim. Because tonight they are going against, you know who, House of Black for the Trios titles. So that tells me right there they not winning. They ain't. House of Black are going to retain, ladies and gentlemen. And word on the street is Roosh is going to make his announcement on TV. I don't know if it's going to be on Dynamite. I don't know if it's going to be on Collision. But word on the street was that Roosh was potentially maybe leaving. Maybe he was going to be a free agent. I don't know yet. But it sounds like him and Jose and I hope Preston return tonight. So that if the Acclaim don't win, now we got the matchup. As a matter of fact, heck, if you want to push this, if you truly want to push this, I'm serious. If you want to push this, because we don't have to do it right away. We don't. If you want to push this feud and get it all the way to All Out or All In or whatever, fine. I don't give a care. I don't have a problem with it. But obviously, it's some story. It's something. That's what we need. We need story. Story is the number one goal. Hold on. Story and characters are the number one and number two goals when it's concerned to wrestling. Story and character. The wrestling is always going to be there. Storytelling, and character development. But Daddy A and the Acclaim won. Good match. I thought this was a very good matchup. So then we get to the women. We get to Chris Statlander versus Marina Shafir. Now, I know there's a lot of people that have been taking a dump on Marina Shafir, but from the little bit that I've seen, I thought this was actually a pretty good, okay match. And for the people that have been crying, oh, TK doesn't care about the women, he got two main events out of his ladies. He got this on Rampage and then what I just talked about, Athena and Willow Nightingale. Marina looked like she's somewhat improving. I think she still needs a little bit more work. But this, again, Chris, the biggest issue with Chris, it's the story, man. She needs some type of feud or something. Because these open challenges ain't really doing nothing for me. Like, I like Chris. I'm a huge fan of Chris. I'm glad she's back, and I'm glad she's staying healthy. Because the number one goal with Chris has always been health. She's been injured twice, and it's been one, it was the other knee. This time it was the other knee. We need Chris to have some kind of concrete storyline or concrete feud that she's going to have, or it's going to carry her all the way to All In, All Out. That's what we need. So now, TK, you did a good job with Willow and Athena. Now it's time to get Chris to where she needs to be. It's time. Because I don't want the TBS title to become exactly what it was with my main girl, Jade Cargill. And Jade Cargill is out here having the time of her life right now. She out here doing what she needs to do. She's spending time with her husband, spending time with her baby girl. I'm like, Jade, you do what you do. But I'm telling you, why in the meantime, get better in the ring. Because I want you to come back and I want you to be one of the biggest baby faces in this company. Get better. Get better. That's all. Get better. Chris, I need TK to put forth an effort in getting us to care about this title reign. Because I don't want people to get where they stay getting stale of her title reign. They ready for her to lose the title. That's the problem. I see TK sometimes falls into the problem of where he kind of fails at booking his baby faces, but he's showing you that if he wants to book a good baby face, he can. Look no further than Adam Cole and potentially, even though he's a heel, MJF. It ain't that difficult, man. Put forth the effort. That's all we got to say. Just put forth the effort, man. So Rampage was decent. It wasn't great. but it was decent. It wasn't bad as SmackDown. So if I had to tell you the bold-faced truth, Rampage was a slight bit better than SmackDown, because SmackDown was terrible. Outside of the Bloodline segment, SmackDown wasn't even worth watching. You could have skipped SmackDown last night. You could have skipped it. Rampage, on the other hand, tad bit better, just a tad. Wasn't great all the way, but honestly, the two main events on Ring of Honor show, what we got on Rampage, I ain't really got nothing else to say, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy Caseyville, King Self for Life Wrestling Takes. Y'all should know exactly what to do. Hit the freaking comment section up. Make sure if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. I keep getting a fluctuating of subscribers, and then next thing you know, they keep disappearing. I don't know if it's a certain situation like how my man King Mike was dealing with, where YouTube was hoeing him, where he kept having subscribers, then next thing you know, they kept disappearing. I don't know if this is the same thing going on with me, because it seems like I'm fluctuating, and then next thing you know, I go right back to 274. So I don't know what's up with that. But I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, y'all should know what to do. I will be back tonight for Collision to talk about AEW Collision. They've been on the roll. It seems like it's 2 matches on the show. I feel like they fill the matches because certain cats got to get wins. The BGC, Bullet Club Gold, but or the BCG. But outside of that, man, I'll see y'all cats tonight. Hit the comment section up, and I'll talk to y'all cats later. Holla at your boy.